It was the end of World War I. Spirits were high. Industry was booming. In Boston's North End, the Purity Distilling Company stored massive quantities of molasses in a giant steel tank. Over 2.3 million gallons of it. Molasses wasn't just for baking. It was used to make industrial alcohol, a key ingredient in munitions and fuel. It was big business. But there was a problem. The tank, hastily built in 1915, was flawed. Workers had reported strange groaning noises. Sticky leaks were ignored, even painted over. No one listened. It was just after noon. The streets were alive with children playing, dock workers unloading cargo, and trolley cars buzzing by. Then, without warning, a sound like a thunderclap tore through the air. The molasses tank exploded. What followed was chaos. A 25-foot-high wave of molasses burst forth, roaring through Commercial Street at over 35 miles per hour. It weighed over 13,000 tons. The force was unimaginable. Buildings were torn from their foundations. A freight car was hurled into the harbor. Horses drowned in the syrup. A firehouse collapsed. Men, women, and children were swept away, trapped in the thick, sticky flood. Some were suffocated. Others were crushed. The molasses moved fast, and then hardened. Rescue efforts were nightmarish. First responders waded through knee-deep sludge, searching for survivors. For days, bodies were pulled from the wreckage. In total, 21 people died, and over 150 were injured. The cleanup took months. Crews used salt water, sand, and even fire hoses to break up the hardened mass and clear the streets. The entire city smelled of molasses for years. And the scars, both physical and emotional, would never fully fade. The disaster led to one of the longest and most expensive legal battles in Massachusetts history. Who was to blame? Investigators discovered that the tank had been poorly constructed. It hadn't been tested. Corners were cut in the rush to profit from wartime demand. In the end, the U.S. Industrial Alcohol Company was found liable. They paid over $600,000 in damages, the equivalent of millions today. More importantly, the tragedy sparked a new era of building codes, engineering regulations, and corporate accountability. Today, the Great Molasses Flood sounds almost like a joke, a strange piece of trivia. But behind the absurdity lies real tragedy. Real people lost their lives. And the disaster became a chilling reminder. When greed ignores warning signs, when companies cut corners, when safety is sacrificed, even something as innocent as molasses can become a weapon. The streets of Boston are dry now. The tank is long gone. But if you walk through the North End on a warm day, some say you can still catch the faint scent of molasses in the air. Do you believe in ghosts? I don't. But this place feels haunted. Not by wandering spirits or creaking floorboards, but by the echoes of lives cut short. The victims of the Great Molasses Flood didn't choose to die here. Their stories weren't meant to end in tragedy. They were ordinary people going about their day. And in the blink of an eye, everything changed. What's left for us to do? To remember them. To remember not just their loss, but their lives, their laughter, their hopes, their dreams. That's what we owe them. The least we can do is make sure their stories aren't forgotten, because here in the North End, where the past still lingers in the air, we have a responsibility to keep their memories alive.